for the daytime, betwabble. Make sure this stuff is up. Okay, y'all. Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Pull this up. I probably should just print this out. So I got it right here in front of me when we start. So we're going to start the mornings with the Shema. Deuteronomy. That's why they're wrong. D-E-U. Deut. Lord, I can't spell that to you. Okay, cool. We got it. That's why we Trina. Okay, beautiful people. Top of the day, YouTube. Top of the day. Let me just my screen. You know what? I'm really gonna have to start doing this just a little bit early. Make sure I got all this ready to go. I'm gonna bring up 2 screens. And I be listening. I go back and listen to the video on YouTube, and it be glitching, like cutting out and stuff. I realize now why some people use microphones when they're recording from their laptop. I think it'll stop that glitching as I looked into it. So I think that's what we might have to do. Okay, beautiful people. Happy Saturday. It is December the 19th, 2020, day 28 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 697. 3 days away from day 700. It's a milestone. We keep on moving, trekking every day. All right, y'all. So today we are going to read Enoch chapters 54 to 57, and then we're going to jump right over into the Legends of the Jews. Man, I want to read. It's the section we need to read today. I really want to skip that and jump to the section tomorrow. I'm trying to see if I cut out a lot of my little stories that I have. We can probably get right to it, and we can read this next little section that I really want y'all to hear today. I'll look at the time. When we get there, if we like at a 50-minute mark, by the time I get done with that, we ain't even going to go into it. We just going to save it for tomorrow. But anyway, okay, y'all. So let's start with the Shema. Remember I said we're going to start the mornings, like we ended with the blessing, which is found in Numbers chapter 6. We're going to begin starting it with the Shema, or it's called the Shema. A lot of you know what that is, but it's how... It's what Yahuah told Moses to teach the people on how to keep his laws, his statutes, and commands. Top of the day, beautiful people coming in. Greetings, Nikki, Tiffany, Shayla, Corey, Christina, and everybody else that came in. On YouTube, Natasha, hey girl, hey, and everybody else that's here. Yahuah, peace and blessings. We missed you yesterday. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're not going to read all of Deuteronomy chapter 6, but I would highly recommend for full context that you read all of Deuteronomy chapter 6. But the Shema is found, just like the one sentence is found, actually it's the 2 verses. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start at the beginning, and then I'm going to end after he talks about the children, which will take me not even a minute to do, but I do recommend you go back and read the whole thing. All right. So now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahuah your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear Yahuah thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command thee, that thou and thy son and thy son's sons all the days of thy life, that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and this is where the Shema starts. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yahuah the God of thy fathers, have promised thee in the land that floweth with milk and honey. And normally if you hear other people say the Shema, they'll start at verse 4. And it begins right here. Hear, O Israel. Remember what he was just saying. Listen, y'all. Pay attention. Let me get everybody's attention. Hear and pay attention. Hear, O Israel. Yahuah, our God, he is one God. He begins, if you read in different versions, one is also the Hebrew word for echad or echad. E-C-H-A-D. I think I spelled that right. But it was right here where Yahuah began to deal with me about him being one God and not multiple. And that really shooketh my soul about 3 years ago. And it just wouldn't let me go. He said, listen, and mind you, you will get a better context of why this is said if you knew the land that they were about to go to. Remember, they were going to possess the land, the promised land, the land that he had promised to them aforetime. But remember, it was stolen by his brethren, and they renamed the land Canaan land and all these other things. Yahuah was taking them back to the land he originally promised them. But who was dwelling in this land now were all manner of people doing all sorts of wickedness, and there were multiple families of giants who lived in the land, like giants. Like we haven't experienced giants like they have. So if you understand what was going on during this time, you will understand what this prayer means, and it'll take much more effect in your life, right? So, okay. Hear, O Israel, Yahuah, our God, is one God, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and upon thy gates. And then it goes on to explain everything, goes into detail, and it ends it at verse 24 and 25, and it said, and Yahuah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is to this day. Listen, this is what Yahuah says righteousness is for his people. Verse 25, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuah our God as he has commanded us. Remember, those who love me keep my commands, right? Okay. All right, so tomorrow when we do that, since I explained it today, I'm just going to do the meat portion of the Shema, and we're just going to open it with that. But I figure I explained it a little bit just in case you didn't know. Because the land that they were going in to possess, they was doing all kind of wickedness that's still going on today, but it's done in secret. But they were openly doing this. The giants in the land, they was doing all kind of sacrifices of the babies. The giants, they were cannibals. They were eating people. They were sacrificing humans. It was disgusting. There are some manuscripts out there that gives deeper details of what was happening during these days and during the days of Noah. Everybody say, oh, we living in the days of Noah. Okay, I can go with that. I really can go with that. But it's just being done in the dark, because if it was openly done, like openly where everybody, like it's not, our eyes aren't being shielded from a lot of this stuff, everybody would turn to the Most High, like, Father, save us, So, okay. So let's hop to our reading today. I just wanted to bring that out just in case you didn't know, right? So remember, keep his commands, and he promises to keep you. Those who keep his commands, he keeps them, and he saves us alive, right? Okay. Starting in Enoch chapter 54. Then I looked and turned myself to another part of the earth, where I beheld a deep valley burning with fire. To this valley they brought monarchs and the mighty. And there my eyes beheld the instruments which they were making, fetters of iron and of immeasurable weight. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, saying, for whom are these fetters and instruments prepared? He replied, these are prepared for the host of Azazel, that they may be delivered over and judged to the lowest condemnation, and that their angels may be overwhelmed with hurled stones, as Yahuah Sebawoti has commanded. Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Penuel shall be strengthened in that day, and shall then cast them into a furnace of blazing fire, that Yahuah Sabaoth may be avenged of them for their crimes, because they became ministers of Satan and seduced those who dwell upon the earth. Remember, still referring to the fallen angels and those who came down here and began having sexual relations with the daughters of the sons of the dirt, or the sons of the earth. In those days shall punishment go forth from Yahuah Sabaoth, and the receptacles of water which are above the heavens shall be opened, and the fountains likewise which are under the heavens and under the earth. All the waters which are in the heavens and above them shall be mixed together. The water which is above heaven shall be the male, the male waters. Waters above are male, waters below are female. And the water which is under the earth shall be female, and all shall be destroyed who dwell upon the earth, and who dwell under the extremities of heaven. By these means shall they understand the iniquity which they have committed on the earth, and by these means shall they perish. Enoch chapter 55. Afterwards, the Ancient of Days, if y'all didn't know who the Ancient of Days was, it's Yahuah himself, the creator of heaven and earth, the Ancient of Days. Afterwards, the Ancient of Days sighed and said, in vain have I destroyed all the inhabitants of the earth. And he swore by his great name, henceforth I will not thus act towards all those who dwell upon the earth, but I will place a sign in the heavens, and it shall be a faithful witness between me and them forever, as long as the days of heaven and earth, last upon the earth. Let me make a little mention right here about something else that we read. We didn't read it. Hey, baby. Right here where the rainbow is in the sky. We know that certain groups of people have hijacked Yahuah's rainbow and is using it as their like logo. Okay, that's cool. We know the creator of it, but listen, did you know that there was a time, and it mentions that time, that the rainbow was not even shown? You know why? Because so many people trusted and believed in Yah. They said there was so many pious people or righteous people keeping his commands at a certain point in time that the rainbow had not even been seen for many years. You know what that means? How often is we seeing a rainbow today? Boy, I'm telling y'all, these people living on this earth is pissing Yahuah off left and right. Bruh, I'm seeing a rainbow a few times a week. I'm like, oh, bruh, he reminded himself. Greetings, Uncle Nathaniel. So every time we see that rainbow, Yahuah is reminding us that he ain't about to take the whole place out like he did the first time with the flood. So it should make y'all think now, when we see this rainbow, ooh, Father, forgive us down here. Get your people together. So, okay. Verse 4. Matter of fact, I'll put that, let me put in the rainbow. So I remember, so you can see it. I get the exact reference. Rainbow reference. Okay. That way y'all can lay your eyes on it yourself. Okay. Afterwards, according to this, my decree, when I shall be disposed to size them beforehand by the instrumentality of angels, in the day of affliction and trouble, my wrath and my punishment shall remain upon them. My punishment and my wrath, says Elohim Yahuah Sabaoth. O you kings, O you mighty who inhabit the world, you shall behold my elect one sitting upon my throne of glory, and he shall judge Azazel, all his associates, and all the hosts, in the name of Yahuah Sabaoth. There likewise I beheld hosts of angels who were moving in punishment, confined in a network of iron and brass. Then I inquired of the angel of peace who preceded me, to whom those under confinement were going. He said, to each of their elect and their beloved, that they may be cast into the fountains of the deep recesses of the valley. And that valley shall be filled with their elect and beloved, the days of whose life shall be consumed, but the days of their error shall be innumerable. Hey, I need y'all to quiet down. Josh, keep them quiet, please, or everybody going back up the stairs this morning. Then shall angels combine together and conspire. The chiefs of the east among the Parthians and Medes shall remove kings in whom a spirit of perturbation shall enter. They shall hurl them from their thrones, springing as lions from their dens, and like famished wolves into the midst of the flock. They shall go up and tread upon the land of their elect. The land of their elect shall be before them. The threshing floor, the path, and the city of my righteous shall impede their hordes. They shall rise up to destroy each other. Their right hand shall be strengthened, nor shall a man acknowledge his friend or his brother, nor the son of his father and his mother, until the number of the dead bodies is their death and punishment. Neither shall this take place without cause. In those days shall the mouth of Sheol be opened, into which they shall be immerged. Sheol shall destroy and swallow up sinners from the face of the earth. Enoch chapter 56. After this, I beheld another army of chariots with men riding in them, and they came upon the wind from the east, from the west, and from the south. The sound of the noise of their chariots was heard, and when that agitation took place, the holy ones out of heaven perceived it. The pillar of the earth shook from its foundation, and the sound was heard from the extremities of the earth unto the extremities of heaven at the same time. Then they all fell down. Hey, chill. Out of here, little girl. Then they all fell down and worshiped Yahuah Sabaoth. This is the end of the second parable. Last chapter of Enoch, y'all. It's 5 verses. I now began to utter the third parable concerning the holy ones and the elect. Blessed are you, O holy and elect, for the glorious is your lot. The holy ones shall exist in the light of the sun, and the elect in the light of everlasting life, the days of whose life shall never terminate, nor shall the days of the holy ones be numbered, who seek for the light and obtain righteousness with Yahuah Sabaoth. Peace be to the holy ones with Yahuah of the world. Henceforth shall the holy ones be told to seek in heaven the secrets of righteousness, the portion of belief, for like the sun has it arisen upon the earth, for like the sun has it risen upon the earth, while darkness has passed away. There shall be light innumerable. There shall be light interminable, nor shall they enter upon the enumeration of time, for darkness shall be previously destroyed.
Where are you?
Bella, I'm about to say upstairs. For darkness shall be previously destroyed, and light shall increase before Yahuah Sabaoth. Before Yahuah Sabaoth shall the light of uprightness increase forever. Okay, y'all. So, forgive my background if they start getting a little loud. If they start getting too loud, I'm going to just call my husband, have him call them up there. Genesis 9:14 rainbow. Yes, thank you, Tiffany. But there's also another reference that I want to share with you all. Okay. All right, so if you in the Legends of the Jews, for those of you that have it, remember you can listen to it online, and in the description I always leave where you can listen to it on YouTube, you can purchase it from Amazon, or you can read it online if you can't purchase it. So that way you can read along, you go back, check into stuff, you have the reference, and do your own personal research and stuff. All right, page 280, volume 3, page 280. All right, Moses blamed for Israel's sin. When the people turned from their God, he said to Moses, who was still in heaven. Who was that? Was that Bella or Jace? Bella. Hey, chill. Y'all, I need y'all to keep quiet or y'all gonna have to go back upstairs. It's gonna be my last time, okay? Okay. When the people turned from their God, he said to Moses, who was still in heaven, get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. Remember yesterday we got into that part, and he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights, and they started going crazy down there, right? Moses, who until then had been superior to the angels, now, owing to the sins of Israel, feared them greatly. The angels, hearing that Yahuah meant to send him from his presence, wanted to kill him. And only by clinging to the throne of Yahuah, who covered him with his mantle, did he escape from the hands of the angels, that they might do him no harm. Can you do that over there? Jeremiah, do that over there, please. He had particularly hard struggle with the 5 angels of destruction, Kezeph, Af, Hema, Mashith, and Haran, whom Yahuah had sent to annihilate Israel. Moses then hastened to the 3 patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and said to them, if ye are men who are participators of the future life, stand by me in this hour, for your children are as the sheep that is led to the slaughter. The 3 patriarchs united their prayers with those of Moses, who said to Yahuah, hast thou not made a vow to these 3 to multiply their seed as the stars, and are they now to be destroyed? In recognition of the merits of these 3 pious men, Yahuah called away 3 of the angels of destruction, leaving only 2, whereupon Moses further importuned Yahuah, for the vow thou hast made to Israel, take from them the angel Mashith. And Yahuah granted his prayer. Moses continued, for the vow thou hast made me, take from them also the angel Haran. Yahuah now stood by Moses so that he was able to conquer this angel, and he thrust him down into the earth in a spot that is the possession of the tribe of Gad, and there held him captive. So as long as Moses lived, this angel was held in check by him, and if he tried, even when Israel sinned, to wrench out of the depths, open wide his mouth, and destroy Israel with his panting, all Moses had to do was to utter the name of Yahuah, and Haran, or as he is sometimes called Peor, was drawn once more into the depths of the earth. At Moses' death, Yahuah buried him opposite the spot where Peor is bound. For should Peor, if Israel sinned, reach the upper world and open his mouth to destroy Israel with his panting, he would, upon seeing Moses' grave, be so terror-stricken that he will fall back into the depths once more. Moses did indeed manage the angels of destruction, but it was a more difficult matter to appease Yahuah in his wrath. He addressed Moses harshly, saying, these grievous sins of men had once caused me to go down from heaven to see their doings. Do thou likewise go down from heaven now. It is fitting that the servant be treated as his master. Remember when he was about to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Yahuah himself came down to see if this wickedness was just as horrible as the angels had been reporting to him. He said, let me go down here and lay my eyes on this myself to see if this report is true. This is what he's talking about. Let me go back up a sentence. The grievous sins of men had once caused me to go down from heaven to see their doings. Do thou likewise go down from heaven now. It is fitting that the servant be treated as his master. Do thou now go down. Only for Israel's sake have I caused this honor to fall to thy lot. But now that Israel has become disloyal to me, I have no further reason to distinguish thee. Moses hereupon answered, O Lord of the world, not long since thou didst say to me, come now, therefore, and I will send thee, that thou mayest bring forth my people out of Egypt. And now thou callest them my people? He said, first they was your people. You said, look, go get my people out of Israel. He said, but now, go get my people out of Egypt. But now they done pissed you off. Now you telling me that those are my people, those my folk. Wait a minute. He said, nay, come now, therefore, and I will send thee, that thou mayest bring forth my people out of Egypt. And now thou callest them my people? Nay, whether pious or sinful, they are thy people still. That's what Moses said. He said, look, if they doing good or they doing bad, Father, they still yours, right? Nay, whether pious or sinful, they are still thy people. Moses continued, what wilt thou now do with them? Yahuah answered, I will consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. O Lord of the world, replied Moses, if the 3-legged bench has no stability, how then can the 1-legged stand? Fulfill not, I implore thee, the prophecies of the Egyptian magicians, who predicted to their king that the star of Ra would move as a harbinger of blood and death before the Israelites. Then he began to implore mercy for Israel. Consider their readiness to accept the Torah, whereas the sons of Esau rejected it. Yahuah, but they transgressed the precepts of Torah. One day they were loyal to me, then instantly set to work themselves to make a golden calf. Moses, consider that when in thy name I came to Egypt and announced to them thy name, they at once believed in me and bowed down their heads and worshipped thee, Yahuah. But now they bow down their heads before their idol. Moses, consider that they sent thee their young men to offer thee burnt offerings, Yahuah. They now offer sacrifices to the golden calf. Moses, consider that on Sinai they acknowledge that thou art thy God, Yahuah. They now acknowledge that the idol is their God. All these arguments with Yahuah did not help Moses. He even had to put up with having the blame for the golden calf laid on his shoulders. Moses, said Yahuah, when Israel was still in Egypt, I gave thee the commission to lead them out of the land, but not take with thee the mixed multitude that wanted to join them. Remember, we read in Exodus, when they came out, it wasn't just Israel. Even some of the Egyptians, there was a mixed multitude that came out with them. Listen to this, y'all. When Israel was still in Egypt, I gave thee the commission to lead them out of the land, but not to take with thee the mixed multitude that wanted to join them. But thou, in thy clemency and humility, did persuade me to accept the penitent that do penance, and did take with thee the mixed multitude. I did as thou did beg me, although I knew what the consequences would be. And it is now these people, thy people, that have seduced Israel to idolatry. Moses now thought it would be useless to try to secure Yahuah's forgiveness for Israel, and was ready to give up his intercession, when Yahuah, who in reality meant to preserve Israel but only liked to hear Moses pray, now spoke kindly to Moses and let him see that he was not quite inaccessible to his exhortations, saying, even in Egypt did I foresee what this people would do after their deliverance. Thou foresaw only the receiving of the Torah on Sinai, but I foresaw the worship of the calf as well. With these words, Yahuah let Moses perceive that the defection of Israel was no surprise to him, and he considered it even before the exodus from Egypt. Hence Moses now gathered new courage to intercede for Israel. Even before he let them out, he knew that they was going to be out here acting a fool. He said, even before I let y'all out, I already knew they was going to do this. But he still did it, right? I'm just like, man. Oh, Lord of the world, Israel has indeed created a rival for thee in their idol, that thou art angry with them. The calf, I suppose, shall be its stars and moon to appear, while thou makest the sun to rise. Thou shalt send the dew, and he will cause the wind to blow. Thou shalt send down the rain, and he shall bid the plants to grow. Yahuah, Moses, thou art mistaken, like them, and knowest not that the idol is absolutely nothing. If so, said Moses, why art thou angry with thy people for that which is nothing? Besides, he continued, thou didst say thyself that it was chiefly my people, the mixed multitude, that was to blame for this sin. Why then art thou angry with thy people? If thou art angry with them only because they have not observed the Torah, then let me vouch for the observance of it on the part of my companions, such as Aaron and his sons, Joshua and Caleb, Jair and Machir, as well as many pious men among them, and myself. But Yahuah said, I have vowed that he that sacrifice unto any god except for Yahuah alone shall be utterly destroyed, and a vow that has once passed my lips I cannot retract. Moses replied, O Lord of the world, hast thou not given us the law of absolution from a vow, whereby power is given to a learned man to absolve anyone from his vows? But every judge who desires to have his decisions accounted valid must subject himself to the law. And thou, who hast prescribed the law of absolution from vows through a learned man, must subject thyself to this law, and through me be absolved from thy vow. Moses thereupon wrapped his robe about him and seated himself, and bade Yahuah let him absolve him from his vow, bidding him say, I repent of the evil that I had determined to bring upon my people. Moses then cried out to him, Thou art absolved from thine oath and vow. I'm like, wow. Moses truly was a friend of Yah. Okay, the next section. The punishment of the sinners. When Moses descended from Sinai, he there found his true servant Joshua, who had waited on him in the slope of the mountain throughout all the 40 days which Moses stayed in heaven, and together they repaired to the encampment. On approaching it, they heard the cries of the people, and Joshua remarked to Moses, There is a noise of war in the camp. But Moses replied, Is it possible that thou, Joshua, who art one day destined to be the leader of 60 myriads of people, cannot distinguish among the different kinds of sins? This is no cry of Israel conquering, nor their defeated foe, but their adoration of an idol. When Moses had now come close enough to the camp to see what was going on there, he thought to himself, How now shall I give them the tables and enjoin upon them the prohibition of idolatry, for the very trespassing of which heaven will inflict capital punishment upon them? Hence, instead of delivering to them the tablets, he tried to turn back, but the 70 elders pursued him and even tried to wrest the tables from Moses. But his strength excelled that of the 70 others, and he kept the tables in his hand, though these were 70 seah in weight. All at once, however, he saw the writing vanish from the tables, and at the same time became aware of their enormous weight. For while the celestial writing was upon them, they carried their own weight, and did not burden Moses. But with the disappearance of the writing, all this changes. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, wow. Let me read that again. All at once, however, he saw the writing vanish from the tables, or the tablets that the 10 Commandments were written on. He saw the writing vanish from the tablets, and at the same time became aware of their enormous weight. For while the celestial writing was upon them, they carried their own weight and did not burden Moses. But with the disappearance of the writing, all this changed. Now, all the more did Moses feel loath to give the tables without their contents to Israel. And besides, he thought, if Yahuah prohibited one idolatrous Israelite from partaking of the Passover feast, how much more would he be angry if I were now to give all the Torah to an idolatrous people? Hence, without consulting Yahuah, he broke the tablets. Yahuah, however, thanked Moses for breaking the tablets. Hardly had Moses broken the tablets when the ocean wanted to leave its bed to flood the world. Moses now took the calf which they had made and burnt it in a fire and ground it to powder and strewed it upon the water, saying to the waters, What would ye do upon the dry land? And the waters said, The world stands only through the observance of the Torah, but Israel has not been faithful to it. Moses hereupon said to the water, All that have committed idolatry shall be yours. Are you now satisfied with these thousands? But the waters were not to be appeased by the sinners that Moses cast into them, and the ocean would not retreat to its bed until Moses made the children of Israel drink of it. The drinking of these waters was one of the forms of capital punishment that he inflicted upon the sinners. Remember this, y'all can read this in Exodus when this happened, right? This is just giving more detail that actually left out. When in answer to Moses' call, Who is on Yahuah's side? Let him come unto me. All the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him, they who had not taken part in the adoration of the golden calf. Moses appointed these Levites as the judges, whose immediate duty it was to inflict the lawful punishment of decapitation upon all those who had been seen by witnesses to be seduced to idolatry after they had been warned not to do so. Moses gave the command as though he had been commissioned to do so by Yahuah. This was not actually so, but he did it in order to enable the judges appointed by him to punish all the guilty in the course of one day, which otherwise, owing to the procedure of Jewish prudence, could not well have been possible. Those who, according to the testimony of witness, had been seduced to idolatry, but who could not be proven to have been warned beforehand, were not punished by temporal justice. They died of the water that Moses forced them to drink. For this water had upon them the same effect as the curse bringing water upon the adulterous woman. Pause. Now, let me tell you about this. Okay, remember I forget exactly where. It's either in, I think it's in Exodus. It's either in Exodus or Leviticus. But it talks about how a woman can prove her innocence. If her husband or somebody accuses this married woman of adultery, Yahuah said, this is what's to happen. Go to the priest, and the priest will pretty much ground up some bitter herbs and put it into water, right? I'm just kind of summing it up so y'all know what they're talking about here. And the woman is to drink this water. Now, if the woman is completely innocent and she has been falsely accused and she truly did not commit adultery, this water that she just drank, it will have no effect on her. But if she had been guilty of committing this indiscretion of adultery, that water would go inside of her and it will begin to cause her belly to bloat and her thighs to rot. And there would be a stench that came from this woman. Now, how many of y'all are willing to take this test today because it's still valid?
Oh my God.
They'll be like, you know what? I did it. I sinned. I'm telling you that.
You know how fast I owned up?
Oh my gosh. What? I don't even know what you call that today. Listen. Okay. If women knew this, and if husbands who thought their wives to be guilty, and it vice versa too. Vice versa, because it's the same effect on men. But even though in the Bible it only mentions the women, because by drinking that, it's only Yahuah that can be the one that causes that to happen within a body to prove your innocence or your being guilty, right? Okay. Let me read this again. Those who, according to the testimony of witness, had been seduced to idolatry, but who could not be proven to have been warned beforehand, were not punished by temporal justice. They died of the water that Moses forced them to drink. For this water had upon them the same effect as the curse bringing water upon the adulterous woman. But those sinners too, against whom no witness appeared, did not escape their fate. For upon them Yahuah sent the plague to carry them off. So some people, they do something, they think they get away. Oh, you ain't see me. There was no witnesses. Let it be established in the presence of 2 or 3 witnesses. There was no witnesses that caused me to be there. Okay, boom. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't hear it. I didn't know. Okay, Yahuah has answered all of that. If you are truly guilty, but nobody saw you, it can't be proven. Something is going to carry you off. Something is going to carry you off. And if you didn't drink the water, then a plague will come to you, and the plague will take you out, right? Okay, read that again. But those sinners too, against whom no witnesses appeared, did not escape their fate, for upon them Yahuah sent the plague to carry them off. Next section, Moses intercedes for the people. Those who were executed by these judgments numbered 3,000, so that Moses said to Yahuah, O Lord of the world, just and merciful art thou, and all thy deeds are of integrity. Shall 600,000 people, not to mention all who are below 20 years of age, because remember, when they do census, Yahuah didn't count those under 20 years of age. As a matter of fact, he didn't even hold them guilty if they had done something, right? So we would call that today like the age of accountability. If they hadn't went over 20 years old, they were by default, they were kept safe, Yahuah actually speaks about that in a few different places. And we constantly see it being called out in the Bible. Even when they number them, everyone over the age of 20 years, they were the ones that were held accountable, right? Okay. 600,000 people, not to mention all who are below 20 years of age, and all the many proselytes and slaves perished for the sake of 3,000 sinners. Yahuah could no longer withhold his mercy and determined to forgive Israel their sins. It was only after long and fervent prayers that Moses succeeded in quite propitiating Yahuah, and hardly had he returned from heaven when he again repaired thither to advance before Yahuah his intercession for Israel. Jeremiah, chill. He was ready to sacrifice himself for the sake of Israel, and as soon as punishment had been visited on the sinners, he turned to Yahuah with the words, O Lord of the world, I have now destroyed both the golden calf and its idolaters. What cause for ill feeling against Israel can now remain? The sins these committed came to pass because thou hast heaped gold and silver upon them, so that the blame is not wholly theirs. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. These bold words of Moses were not without consequence for him, for although Yahuah replied, Whosoever have sinned against me, him will I blot out of my blood. Still, it was on account of this that his name was omitted from one section of the Pentateuch. And the Pentateuch is, the whole Old Testament. If I got that right, you got Torah, the first 5 books. You got the writings, you got the prophets. I think the Pentateuch is the whole Old Testament. I think. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. Yeah, Trina, it would have been a whole lot of stinking, rotten, big belly folks.
I'm gonna say this now, bro. Whole time, if I was Moses, I would have been Noah. If you get my drift.
Which is probably why you were not born at that time. You were born here, son.
Yeah.
But for Israel, his words created an instant revulsion of feeling in Yahuah, who now addressed him kindly and promised that he would send his angel who would lead the people into the promised land. These words indicated to Moses that Yahuah was not entirely appeased, and he could further see this in the punishment that fell upon Israel that day. Their weapons, which every man among them had received at the revelation on Sinai, which had miraculous virtues, having the name of Yahuah engraved upon them, were taken from them by the angels, and their robes of purple likewise. Remember, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. Remember when Yahuah spoke to them and the angels showed up and they gave them gifts and stuff. Remember when they heard the audible voice of Yah, it said they flew back 12 miles and their spirits left their body. Then the Torah was like, Yah, who did you give me to, the living or the dead? He said the living. He said these folks is dead, and so he rose them up. This portion right here is where not only were they endowed with the lights from Yahuah's presence, his voice, but they were also giving gifts, right? They were given supernatural weapons, which 40 days later, they got snatched away because of their foolishness. I'm like, darn it. Can anybody do what's right for a long period of time? I'm like, y'all was getting everybody in trouble. Like in boot camp, somebody mess up, the whole division get dropped. Everybody drop and do push-ups. I'm like, y'all better get it together. And then you got the one, if people still can't get it right, you got people amongst yourself, amongst your division, they're going to start beating you upside the head. Look, we sick of getting dropped for you. You better get it together. You better get it together. And y'all done seen that in movies too. Everybody tired of getting in trouble for y'all. Follow directions and y'all got to go. It was them. Them right there, all them. Keisha and her little crew that she didn't gather, and Tom too. Get him, all them. It was all them.
Snitch.
We still getting beat for y'all foolishness. Okay. Their weapons, which every man among them had received at the revelation on Sinai, and which had miraculous virtues, having the name of Yahuah engraved upon them, were taken from them by the angels, and their robes of purple likewise. When Moses saw from this that Yahuwah's wrath was still upon Israel, and that he desired to have nothing further to do with them, he removed his tent a mile away from the camp, saying to himself, the disciple may not have intercourse with people whom the master has excommunicated. Not only the people went out of this tent whenever they sought to seek Yahuwah, but the angels also, the seraphim and the heavenly host, repaired thither, the sun, the moon, and other heavenly bodies, all of who knew that Yahuwah was to be found there, and that the tent of Moses was the spot where they were to appear before their Creator. Yahuwah, however, was not at all appeased to see Moses keep himself aloof from the people, and said to him, according to our agreement, I was to propitiate thee every time thou wert angry with the people, and thou wert to propitiate me when my wrath was kindled against them. What is now to become of these poor people if we both be angry with them? Yahuwah say, listen, we made an agreement that we would keep each other in check. Remember, they sitting here having a conversation like friends. Yahuwah allowed Moses to sit there with him, and they had conversation back and forth. I mean, how awesome is it that the creator of heaven and earth would choose to submit himself to his creation, that we could have intercourse and chat among one another. I know, right? He said, listen, Moses, look. The agreement we made was that, when I get pissed off, you gonna calm me down, bruh. He said, when you get pissed off, I'm going to calm you down. He said, we both sitting out here removed away from the tent, pissed off at the people. What hope do they have? I need you to go back. Oh, so funny. I was Trina. You know what, Trina, I can believe that. No, I'm just playing. Trina said funny. I was the reason my unit always got dropped. We live and we learn, right? Sometimes discipline is very good. Y'all ride to the back will straighten you up.
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah.
You're absolutely right, Ali. Our words have consequences, and yeah, exactly why Moses did not reach the promised land. Shalom, mother. Shalom, shalom. Okay. According to our agreement, I was to propitiate thee every time thou wert angry with the people, and thou wert to propitiate me when my wrath was kindled against them. What is now to become of these poor people if we both be angry with them? Return therefore into the camps of the people. If thou wilt not obey, remember that Joshua is in the camp at the sanctuary, and he can well fill thy place. Moses replied, it is for thy sake that I am angry with them, and now that I see that still thou cannot forsake them, I have, said Yahuwah, I already told thee that I shall send an angel before them. But Moses, by no means content with this assurance, continued to importune Yahuwah not to entrust Israel to an angel, but to conduct and guide them in person. Remember, Yahuwah said, I'm going to send an angel before thee. They left out some of this middle stuff. It wasn't that, oh, yeah, I'm sending an angel before thee, because Yahuwah said he was going to go himself. He said, look, y'all keep pissing me off. I'm going to send my angel. He going to head up the ranks, because if I'm there amongst you, I'm gonna kill all of you, because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this, Grandpa. Okay, I'm sorry. But Moses, by no means content with this assurance, continued to importune Yahuwah not to entrust Israel to an angel, but to conduct and guide them in person. 40 days and 40 nights from the 80th day of Tammuz to the 28th of Ab did Moses stay in heaven, beseeching and imploring Yahuwah to restore Israel once more entirely into his favor. But all his prayers and exhortations were in vain, until at the end of 40 days he implored Yahuwah to set the pious deeds of the three patriarchs and of the 12 sons of Jacob to the account of their descendants, and only then was his prayer answered. He said, if thou art angry with Israel because they transgressed the 10 commandments, Be mindful for their sake of the 10 tests which thou didst subject Abraham, and through which he nobly passed. If Israel deserves at thy hand punishment by fire for their sin, remember the fire of the lime kiln in which Abraham let himself be cast for the glory of thy name. Remember, I spoke to y'all about this before. It's not only that we see people, the 3 Hebrew boys thrown in the fiery furnace, but there was a time beforehand which was left out, which you can read in the book of Jasher. If you have an apocrypha, you can pull it up online. Nimrod also threw Abraham and his brother into a fiery furnace. Abraham was saved, but his brother, one of his brothers, got burnt up because he was wavering on the line whether he wanted to believe Nimrod, if Nimrod was God, or if Yahuah, the creator of heaven and earth, was the true God, right?
What is Nimrod?
Pause. We'll talk about that in a second, Jeremiah. Hold on.
Nimrod is suspense.
Son, if you would do the work I tell you and go read, I told you to listen. It is.
No, I thought you was just reading, when you said son, I thought you was reading the Bible from her, and then you was looking at
yeah, I'm talking to you, Jeremiah. Yelimiah.
That's
okay.
my name?
I'm going to kick you out this kitchen, boy. If Israel deserves at thy hands punishment by fire for their sin, remember the fire of the lime kiln into which Abraham let himself be cast for the glory of thy name. If Israel deserves death by sword, remember the readiness with which Isaac laid down upon his neck upon the altar to be sacrificed to thee. If they deserve punishment by exile, remember for their sake how their father Jacob wandered into exile from his paternal home in Haran. Quiet them down, please. Moses furthermore said to Yahuah, will the dead ever be restored to life? Yahuah in surprise retorted, hast thou become a heretic, Moses, that thou dost doubt the resurrection? If, said Moses, the dead never awaken to life, then truly thou art right to wreak vengeance. Then thou art right to wreak vengeance upon Israel. But if the dead are to be restored to life hereafter, excuse me, take a sip of water. I'm sorry, y'all. Just a sip. Okay. Okay. If, said Moses, the dead never awaken to life, then truly thou art right to wreak vengeance upon Israel. But if the dead are to be restored to life hereafter, what wilt thou then say to the fathers of this nation if they ask thee what has become of the promise that thou hast made to them? I demand nothing more for Israel, Moses continued, than that which thou art willing to grant to Abraham when he pleaded for Sodom. Thou wert willing to let Sodom survive if there were only just 10 men therein. And now I am about to enumerate hold on, y'all. Thou wert willing to let Sodom survive if there were only 10 just men therein. And I am now about to enumerate to thee 10 just men among the Israelites, myself, Aaron, Eleazar, Ithamar, Phinehas, Joshua, and Caleb. But that is only 7, objected Yahuah. Moses, not at all abashed, replied, but thou hast said that the dead will hereafter be restored to life, so count with these the 3 patriarchs to make the number 10 complete. I'm like, boy, you thinking. He said, count them 3 patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, plus us, 7. That makes it 10. You got 10 righteous men right here before you. Moses mentioned the names of the 3 patriarchs. Moses' mention of the name of the 3 patriarchs was of more avail than all else, and Yahuah granted his prayer, forgave Israel their transgression, and promised to lead the people in person. Where we at? Okay, y'all, we're going to stop right there. Man. Okay. Yeah, we're going to stop right there because everybody coming into the kitchen now. So this next section we're going to pick up is the inscrutable ways of Yahuah. And it's so good. If you got it, go ahead and read ahead, y'all. It's just like sweet kisses all over you. So I'm like, what? Yes. Okay, y'all. So that was the reading for today. We read Enoch chapter 54 through 57, and we read the Legends of the Jews, pages 280 to 283. All right, y'all. So hop right on over here to the blessing, and we are going to go ahead and close out. And while I'm pulling this up, I'm going to go ahead and recite the day again. It is Saturday, December the 19th, 2020. And it is day 28 of year 3 of reading through the books of instruction, or the books of the law and the prophets. And of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 697. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead here to the blessing as we close out. And I'll let everybody get about their day today here on this Saturday. Ain't that something? And look, the Shema, I just noticed this. The Shema is in Deuteronomy chapter 6. And the blessing is in Numbers chapter 6. They both chapter 6. I just figured I'd put that out.
I was obligated to study Numbers.
We'll do it, son. Do it.
No.
Okay, so remember, the first 21 verses of Numbers chapter 6 is the Nazirite vow. And the blessing begins at verse 22. And Yahuah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuah bless us and keep us. May Yahuah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Moses was something. That quick thinking. I say, I know. I'm like, Father, bless me with the quick thinking like Moses. Oh, my gosh. Thank you for the lesson today, sister. Thanks for everyone who took time to be here. Enjoy the rest of the day. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody who come and hang out with me in the morning while I stand my post. I love y'all. Thank you. It makes it more engaging. I really do enjoy talking to you all. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. I love y'all. And I see y'all bright and early in the morning.